All right, I'd like to say thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. John Ellis and Miss Ellis for letting us come in here to put this together and explain to all of you guys what is going on over at Jack Gates and the principals and HISD and what is going on over there to the school. And one of the big Texas school who really helps all the black high schools in the state of Texas is Mr. Gary Monroe out of Jack Gates class of 1986, working with you guys for the last 10 years. And I invited Mr. Gary Monroe out here because he's the one that knows everything about the school board and what they're doing at the school board. And also Miss Tiffany Gilry, who is the principal over there at the school. So I'll hand it over to Mr. Gary Monroe, Jack Gates class of 1986.
Thank you. We have a serious problem. You good people and other people from the 60s and the 70s kind of, have been telling us for years that they were trying to take our school. And they wanted to sell the property, so we know the overall plot. Well, a couple of years ago, I told Ms. Guillory, because I know things that I should know according to HISD. I say they're coming for you. I told her, I told Thompson and Cullen, they're coming for you. And she was like, why? They need you out this school. So this past summer, she was at a training. She was pulled from her table by Giovanni Ponce, the area superintendent. She was taken off to the side. She came back to the table in tears. She told her colleagues that he wants me to leave Yates. She immediately called me. I was in Minneapolis. I told her, just sit tight, I'll be back in a couple of days, because I came back and we hatched a plan to where I could be on the campus every day so that I could watch and make sure that we were safe. I ended up being a student teacher. I coached football all last season. So I'm on the campus every day. I'm seeing her do the work. I'm seeing the challenges that we have, but I'm also seeing the changes that she's making to make sure that we accomplish the goal, which is to be a passing school. On September 30th, she was out on FMLA, and she received a notice from the area superintendent again, a written notice where they were going to reassign her, take her out to school, send her somewhere else. She immediately called me for that. At that point, I kind of got some alumni, we got in front of it. We went to a community event at the old Lockhart at the new Energy High School. And I asked the superintendent myself, are you planning on taking our principal out of our school? He told me that night, no. So let's go a couple of more months down the road. She called me that Friday morning and she said, Monroe, I have to go to a conference for the record. For those that don't know, a conference for the record, that's just the first step for you about to get terminated. So I'm like, why do you gotta go to a conference for the record? She said, I don't know. I say, let me make some phone calls. I called her back in about an hour. I said, I don't know why, but they decided they would do an investigation on you and they're planning on removing you from the school. She had a 3:30 meeting, and at 3:30 I got a call from the assistant principal saying that the superintendent was in the gym watching basketball in the HISD tournament, and while he's there, they're basically firing Guillory in the office. The bottom line, the way that this TEA thing works, for those that don't know, you can get an A through a C. They rate your campus A through C. Anything below a C, your campus is not rated. So our campus wasn't rated last year. Well, it wasn't rated because she needs tutors. She needs interventionists. She needs dyslexia specialists. Everything that she asked for to help our children, HISD denied it. They wouldn't give it to her. So she's over there making wine out of water. That's what she's doing on a daily basis. So I made her a promise when she first got the job, because I'm the guy that's gonna always be there. If the kids need something, if the school needs something, you know, like when the first day they opened this new school, we had about 50 water leaks. Everything, it's just like everything was leaking in the school. I made the phone calls. Well, we can get over there tomorrow. It's raining. Dude, I need you over here right now. I want you over here right now. It's a brand new school and this shouldn't be going on. So I made her a promise that I would be there for her the whole time, that she would be there. So your campus is not rated 1 year. The next year, if your campus doesn't pass, then they can come through the door and try to close your school or charter your school. I went to Jack A. Senior High School. I ain't go to Baylor College of Medicine at Jack Yates. That ain't working for me. Give her what she needs to work. So they decided, okay, we're gonna get rid of her. The reasons they said they were gonna get rid of her was her CCMR numbers, college career readiness. And those numbers are tied to the technical courses that we don't have. The cosmetologists, the barber colleges, the good stuff like clean and press. We don't have those courses, so those numbers are always gonna be low. But there was something else that happened with the CCMR numbers. Once Guillory turned the numbers into the district, which she did in a timely fashion, they had to upload the numbers to TEA. The district forgot to upload the numbers for the whole district. And then once they tried to upload it, TEA wouldn't take them. So we actually only missed being a passing school by 2 points. If we'd have got our CCMR numbers, we'd have got them. So then they said, well, that don't make sense. You want to take her out for CCMR numbers? And I'm the type of guy that when I ask a question, I already know the answer. So I'm just trying to see how long you gonna play with me. So I asked them, I say, when do the CCMR numbers come out? I say they come out in May. This is December. So you're retroactively going back to get these numbers to pull this lady out. I say that doesn't make sense. It's something else going on. Well, her TSI numbers they're not the greatest numbers. They're very, very low. TSI numbers are those are the tests that you have to take when you are ready to enroll in college. This is what kids have to take. But we're at a school where 90% of the population isn't gonna go to college. So therefore they can care less about taking the TSI test. We don't have enough AP courses. We have we're an IB world school. We don't have the teachers.
What is that?
International Baccalaureate, if I'm saying it wrong, forgive me, but we don't have the teachers to have an IB school. And Guillory told them, if you don't want to give us the teachers to make this program run, then we don't want the program. She was in the process of saying, we want culinary arts, because this is what the kids want. We want culinary arts. We want something that's going to galvanize these children. So everything that she asked for, they told her no. They told her no. Now, everybody kind of knew about the lawsuit between HISD and TEA. Well, I knew, because I'm in politics. The court is not going to rule against the government entity. They wasn't going to do that. It could sit in that court for 3 years, 4 years, they wasn't going to rule against HISD. So the thing is, in order for TEA to come through the door and take Wheatley, Yates, Cashmere, North Forest, all of them at one time, you got to starve them for programs and resources. Don't give them what they need to help the kids get to where they need to be. So when they fail in May, they come get all of them. So now we're in a fight. How am I going to fight this? I mean, Boo Lee will tell you a lot of days I'm at the school board meeting by myself. But I'm there 14 years, I ain't missing it. Because I need to know what these people are doing. So our plan was, and I call it applying pressure. I learned something from y'all. Every last one of y'all in here. You remember when you were young in the 60s and y'all had to fight? And because of those fights that you had in the 60s, I'm able to walk into restaurants and eat anything I want nowadays. I'm able to do stuff that I know I would not have been able to do if it wasn't for y'all. So I started, but he has the option to say, I don't want to put her back in the school. Well, it's going to prove us right that you're trying to flunk our school, because right now those kids are they're not adjusting to it. And now they know that their principal didn't do anything wrong, they want her back. So the bottom line is that not only are they trying to get Yates closed and taken over by the state, I can guarantee you, I would put my life on it. In 5 months, Yates, Wheatley, Cashmere, North Forest, all gonna flunk the state mandated test.
But you know, we're not gonna hold you guys' meeting up. We know that y'all are having a meeting here. And I just wanna go over some quick numbers right quick. These are the students in the 4A schools that are used to be permanent black schools. Okay, at Jack Yates, you got a total of 822 students. Worthing, you got 700 students. Wheatley, you got 869 students. Most of those are Hispanic kids over there at Wheatley now. Then over there at Cashmere, you got 830. And Booker T. Washington, you only have 760 kids. The total amount of kids with all 5 black schools is 4,086 students. Now, let me remind you, North Shore out in the north side of Houston, out there they got Phyllis Wheatley and them and Cashmere students. They got the largest school in the state of Texas. They're the 3rd largest school, North Shore. They got 4,537 students. Now, over there at Lamar, they got 2,807 students. Some of those could be Jack Yates students. Now, over here at Bel Air, you got 3,213 students. Some of those could be Jack Yates students. So this is where the numbers are coming at. And just like Monroe said, all the predominantly black high schools in the state of Texas. See, this thing is bigger than HISD. This thing is going all the way to Abbott. And that's the governor of the state of Texas. And they want to know, why is these black schools still open? Because the rest of the black schools in the state of Texas are closed, except you got 5 in Houston that's still open. You know, that's Jack Yates, Worthing, Wheatley, Cashmere, and Booker T. Washington. In Dallas, you only got 2. You got Dallas or Lincoln, which only has 630 kids. And then you got Dallas and Madison, which only have 470. And then the other 2 is out of Fort Worth, Texas. You got Dunbar that has 933 students, and then you got IBM Terrell, which only have 494. So therefore, you got a total of 7 black high schools that's still open. And they want to close them because they feel like these black kids could go to these white schools and they can rewrite our history. Now that's the bottom line. So, you know, we're not going to hold you guys. We thank Ms. Ellis. We thank you guys at the Family's 50'S for coming here, listening to what we had to say. And it's just one of those things that, just like Brother Monroe said, and I can go to this and vouch with this because I'm a little older than him, is that this ain't the first time Jack Yates had to fight HISD. They had to fight him in 1958 in September when they brought Dr. Caldwell over from Phyllis Wheatley. So this is not the first rodeo. You know, it might be the first rodeo for Mr. Monroe, which out of 86. But for me, being a Jack Yates historian, no, it ain't the first rodeo, because the white school board, they elected to take Mr. William Holland to open up the new Jack Yates at 3703 Sampson, and they got the rivalry principal out of Phyllis Wheatley, did not want to leave Phyllis Wheatley. Let me get this straight, because I deal with all 5 black high schools. Dr. Caldwell did not want to leave Phyllis Wheatley. His son finished on Wheatley. He started his career with Mr. E.O. Smith at Wheatley. But the white board wanted him to leave and to cause confusion at Jack Yates like they did. So thank y'all so much for letting us, and we want to listen to whatever you guys got to say, because Gary Monroe looks up to me, and I looks up to you guys, because this is what seniority is all about keeping our legacy of Jack Yates alive. We got to keep our legacy alive. Yes, ma'am.
What I would like to say is Dr. Clarkson, who was at Yates back in the 50s, he mentioned to the students then that the University of Houston wanted a Jack Yates High School, and that would be a continuation. So they have been patiently waiting for Jack Yates and TSU. So therefore, this is something that has just been going on and on. At that time, the community was involved in it. Then when they opened up in 1967 and Dopey Carmichael came here and all this stuff was going on, then the community was divided because what they did, they sent all the good black teachers to the white schools and then they brought the inexperienced teachers to the black schools. And so what they did was send the students to HSPDA. They want the athletes to go to Bel Air and all these other white schools, and then just let the others just stay in there, like from the CUNY home, where they couldn't afford to send anybody out.
You know, you're so right about that, and let me just put a little bit added on to that, what you just said. Yes, HISD started trying to sell the property because the property over there that used to be Jefferson Stadium, they sold it to University of Houston.
Yes.
That was HISD property that they sitting there playing football at U of H on today.
Right. Amen.
You know, so what you're saying is absolutely correct. The only thing they got to do now is just take that property over there at 3650 Alabama and use it for a parking lot. But they got to fight for it. Miss Carolyn?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Booley. I look up to you too, sometimes. So I am council member Carolyn Evans Shabazz, a council member for District E, what I call the district of destination. But more importantly, I'm a proud Jack Yates graduate. I was actually raised in the halls of Jack Yates. My dad was the basketball coach at Yates, Coach Doc Evans. And so my brother and I thought that was our playground over there at Jack Yates. But I want to just be very clear. First and foremost, I need to thank publicly Mr. Gary Monroe. I don't always like his methodology, which he already knows that we've done many things together. I was the NAACP education chair, and he was Mr. Gary Monroe. And we would partner together to get things done on behalf of the teachers and the students in the various school districts. But certainly anywhere that Jack Yates is named, I am supremely concerned. And so I just want to say in regards to the other night, that was a victory for Tiffany Guillory, because we know that her job was saved, and certainly, but we don't know where she will be placed. And in view of the information that was just given about her not planning to stay much longer, I see no point in moving her to another building, and I'll say that publicly. But I want to say that, you know, I was engaged. I did not speak at the public meeting, but I was engaged talking to the trustees in my elected capacity. And certainly when I showed up at the meeting, I was hoping that people would realize just my presence meant I was supporting. Because if you know a council member, we have a million things to do, and they didn't place that building in a strategic location for us to actually be engaged, because it's too far and the traffic is horrible. And so I just wanted to make sure that even though I didn't speak for that 1 minute that they allowed, that I was deeply involved, deeply engaged, and hopefully, you know, it had some bearing. But I do believe that it was the masses of people that showed up, as well as the engagement of our brother Gary Monroe here, that helped, and the facts themselves. I'm going to say that because I trusted the trustees and told them that, because I don't want to breach their fiduciary duty and asking them, what's the reason, what's going on? That, you know, I was on an HCC board, and I know how sensitive that is, and I would never ask them to do that. But I did ask them to weigh the information and come out with a fair outcome. And I believe that that is what happened the other night in regards to her job being saved. I've been engaging with her personally, sending her words of encouragement because I do support her. And so just wanted to say that. I thank you all for this time. I'm leaving one meeting and running out to another. But here again, if it ever has the crimson and gold and jackets attached to it, I'm always engaged and involved and concerned. And so thank you, Council Member Carolyn Evans Shabazz. They say you're supposed to say your name more than once, just in case y'all voters. But anyway, thank you so very much. You all have a great afternoon. And you all set the bar high.
Okay.
Let's just be clear, you all set the bar high. We cannot touch what the fabulous 50's has done for the Jack Gates legacy and program. Thank you so much.